Sidewalk sitting all of my desk. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And with the end of 2021 comes the beginning of 2022. So it's time to look back upon certain aspects of my channel. I'm not going to do like every headphone I did. There's too many of those. But I've done a roundup or a review of all the amplifiers, the just specifically headphone-ish amplifiers. There was one speaker amp in there, but it's fine. That we or I looked at in 2021, and I'm not going to rank them. Again, I don't like tier lists. I'm not doing that. I'm just reviewing it. Maybe you bought one of these. Maybe you're thinking about buying one of them. Maybe you want to know if it's still relevant after everything that's come about. Oh, I got to pull my phone out because there's some that are not here. Because DAC amp combos, here to explain DAC amp combos, they are what you get when you just want simplicity. The STAX, the A90, D90 STAX, the topping STAX, the Loxjie STAX, the shit STAX, the Shelly STAX, where you have, you know, the amp on top and the DAC on bottom. And there was reasons to have it that way for a while, where it's like back in the day, it was all combos, then it became all STAX, and it's still pretty much all STAX. But I'm starting as a person who is just fucking loaded with complications and just equipment, and there's just so much going on. I want to simplify it. And you can't get simpler than a DAC amp combo. Plug the digital input from your computer, whether it's USB coaxial, digital, or optical, into it. And then you plug your headphone into it, and it's done. That's its job, to bridge those two things. From the digital world, whether that be a CD, a streaming device, something, just take it from there and bring it to my headphones. And I don't want to fucking deal with multiple pieces of equipment. I don't want to have RCA cables. I don't want to have XLR cables. I don't want to... Done. So one of the best examples of that, IFI Zen Dac. Even though it's called the DAC, it's actually a DAC amp. USB in only, headphone, whether it's balanced or unbalanced out, you're good to go. Now, this is actually the third or fourth time I'm starting this video, because I went through like half of these and I never mentioned the sound. I just mentioned the features and the plugins, and I'm like, that's enough, right? No, it's not enough. The IFI Zen Dac, easily the best buy in audio for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. Mic RB42s, Zen Dac, KPH30Is, now the KPH40s. These are all best buys because you can't buy an amp as good as the amp in this and a DAC as good as the DAC in this for less than $150. You just can't do it. You can't buy a stack and make it. So what makes this special is that it is very, I wanted to say very linear, but it's not that. It's very luxurious sounding. Like I'm going to be making up a lot of words for this because there's no way to get around the fact that you can only measure things and then look at graphs and it's like, it's that shape or it's doing this to the sound. When you hit the true bass on this, your whole world changes. When you put sensitive IEMs and you hit the power match, it's perfect. It is the ultimate in basic needs for your computer to go to a headphone. The end. You want balanced? Here it is. You want unbalanced? Here it is. You want to line out to something else? Here. You want a variable out to something else? Flip to switch. Do it. Killer unit. You can stop watching this review just by this. Although there are a few new ones that I've sticker bombed recently. I'm considering this one for here. I don't know. I like that sticker. I'll put it on something. Use the time codes in the description if you want to jump around. If you don't want to, if you've bought one of these or you want to see if you recognize any of them and you want to know what I think is, just jump around. So put that down. Put that down. That's like the benchmark. Everything past this is going to be more expensive and better do something fucking great or weird. Pull out the Loxjie. Wow. Liquid Gold X. It starts with an L. It's close to Loxjie. Liquid Gold X used to be in my rack. And the only reason I'm not using it there is because the sound signature of this, which was like a warm class A-ish sound with a DAC built in, has sort of been replaced by the Singzer and to the more extent the Burson. And of course they're all externally being DAC'd from down there. But this unit was interesting because it had digital inputs and balanced inputs and single-ended inputs. So it's got coaxial, optical, USB, RCAs, and XLR all in. You can't access this DAC to use it somewhere else. That's kind of shitty for $1,000 unit. That's, I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm pretty sure this is mostly a headphone amp that they just happen to include a DAC. But that means it qualifies for this video, even if I reviewed this more than a year ago, because I think it needs more love on the internet. I love the sound of the metal sliding against itself, the nice thick knob. Yeah, so this was probably, there's not many combos that are $1,000 that I'm still like, yeah, you want the combo, not the separate stack. Because I can think of a billion stacks right now that could get this stack. But people don't want to mix and match. People, if you're going to buy a stack, you're obviously going to keep the A90 and D90 stacked. So really, why are you getting that instead of a combo that just has both of those in a single chassis? That's what we're here to discuss. So the Monolith is sort of like the high-end crown jewel of combos, I think. There's other ones. You're all going to talk about them in the comments. So let's go around to the interesting shit, because there's some stuff here that I really need to talk about. Xduoo XD05 Balanced. This came out in 2021. This is a portable DAC amp, but I'm putting it on the table here for review because I think it's big enough. It's a chunky boy that if you wanted to just use this and nothing else in your life, problem solved. I feel like DAC amps in general are for people who aren't going to have this ever. And I strive, as a person who does audio reviews, I kind of wish for that simplicity. I want to just go to my desk and there'd just be one box. No RCA cables, no XLR cables. It's just one optical maybe and a power cord or a USB. This doesn't even take the external power supply. You just plug the USB into it, USB powers it, and you plug your headphone in. That's one wire in the back, one wire at the front, done. Oh God, could you feel the cleanliness? There's none of those tangles of wires. Well, XD05 Balance I'm counting because it has a DC input for 5 volt, which you can plug into the wall. It has the USB in, which you can use as a digital input for this, also has coaxial input, also has optical input. So all the standard plug ins, digital ins for a DAC amp combo, or a DAC at least. Has Bluetooth, obviously, because it is a portable. That is the reason I love it. And it also has a switch here, which means run off the battery or run off the external power supply. So you can switch it to external power supply, and it doesn't use the battery, and it sits right on your desk, and you have to plug it in, and that is a desktop DAC amp. And if you're going for minimalism, this isn't the smallest you can go. Get to that in a second. But this is, I think, 1 watt per channel. This is pretty beastly. It's a pretty beastly thing for how small it is. You get your volume knob on the side, which is impossible to use on a desk. High-low gain. You get your boost, which is not bass boost, which is kind of like, wish it was bass boost, but it's like power boost, or changes the gain settings, but it's not gain. I forget what it is. But then your on-off switch. This is a lovely little unit. And come the moment where it's like, you know what? I was listening to this song on these headphones at my desk, and I just want to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich, but I don't want to stop listening to my music. Come around the back, switch it over to battery instead of external, unplug your source, Bluetooth your phone, put this in your pocket, go away. You've done a job. So that's a unique feature, because this, I'm counting these as all desktop DAC amps. This is a desktop DAC amp. Can it be used for portability? Sure as shit can. Is it practical? Kinda. Let's move that to the side. So I've reviewed these three, or I've talked about these three. Let's get this weird one out of the way. I'm putting this here just because it exists and it came out in 2021. This is the STAX Energizer. What was your model number? Hold on, I forget what your model number was. You are the, I know your serial number. You know, don't remember what the model number is for this. Check the description for it. Anyway, this is STAX's cheapest amp at all, and it just happens to be a DAC amp combo, because the back can support either a 3.5mm analog input, which would make this just an amp, or a micro USB, because fucking Japan, which you can switch over to with this switch, and then you can use a micro USB from a laptop or a phone and make this get signal from it, and therefore it is a DAC/Energizer. I don't know how many people are actually using one of these. I keep it on the shelf and I charge it occasionally because this thing's fucking expensive. This costs $900, only slightly less than this does, and this does way more. But this is portable for STAX, which means no one's actually fucking buying that. But it's nice to see it there. Let me go over right now the ones that don't exist here on my desk. I went through my videos that I put out this year. I think this is all of them. If I missed one, let me know. The Topping EX5. I just reviewed the Topping EX5. And that was basically a stack turned into a single DAC amp combo. That was a Topping A30 Pro, D30 Pro. There's a D30 Pro here. There's a DAC. I had the A30 Pro amp, I put it on the shelf, out for the review for the previous gathering where I did the roundup of 2021 amps. So the fact they took a stack, and then I think it was Shenzhen was like, hey, can you just shove all this shit into one box so that people don't have to buy two things? And they did that, and it sounded fucking wonderful. So it's just a convenience thing. They literally squeezed it until they were both into one unit. So the Topping EX5 belongs on this list, and if I didn't sell it in the yard sale, it would definitely be on this table. But it's another thing. I sold a hell of a lot more combos than or sold or returned than I did amplifiers. And I don't know why, because combos can be so much easier for me. But I guess it comes down to trust. I guess I'll get this out of the way. Because when you get a combo, you have to trust, like if you plug into the USB of this STAX, right? If I used a 3.5mm, the analog input, and I hooked it up to any of my well-known Loxjie D30 DAC, the Topping Pro one, the Musician Pegasus, if I plugged it in, I would know that that is an established quality component. Now, I've had a big thing with DACs in this channel where I don't think they're worth like a lot of the money people are trying to charge for them. They do their job, and a lot of times everything else in the system makes more difference. And just because you've perfected everything else doesn't mean you should blow fucking $2,000 on a DAC or $5,000 on a DAC. Just because you've run out of things to spend money on. Spend money on another hobby is more of my fucking advice on this. But I have to trust that the STAX people who know how to build electrostatic headphone/ear speakers and know how to build energizers also know how to implement DACs. All of these are trust issues in this line of work. Do I trust IFI, Xduoo, Monoprice, Shanling? Do I trust them to put a DAC in there in a way where I can't, because you can look at a DAC. If a DAC's shit or something goes wrong with it, you throw it the fuck away. You got another one. When you get a combo, you're locked in. It's like marriage, but not where you can ever get divorced. All divorce lawyers are gone. It's just locked in marriage forever. You've sewn each other together. So I have to trust that the DAC in this is going to do exactly what I want. I think that's people's problems with combos, especially in the audiophile spectrum, which I want to get people away from that because I've made enough progress in trying to remove the delusion of expensive DAC must be better, that they can start trusting things that have DACs built into them. Like the Monoprice, this Liquid Gold X. You can't access the DAC. You can't just plug in XLRs in the back and feed another amplifier with just a DAC. You have to listen to the DAC from this amp through this amp's front outputs. So how am I supposed to judge to see if it's, you know, it's sort of like blindsiding you. You have this long box, 20 feet long, and you got the signal coming in one end of it, and you were able to see what comes out of the front of it, but you have no idea what's going on in the middle. So if you hear a hiss or a whine, is that coming from the amplifier section or is that coming from the DAC section? So that's one of the mental issues people have with DAC amp combos. They're super fucking convenient, but audiophiles are control freaks. We all want to have, I mean, look at the ones that have like, the fucking IFI has a separate power supply that you could buy a different power supply if you want. Then the amplifier, and then the DAC, and then the DAC has a separate power supply. We just try to separate so much shit so that if any aspect doesn't appeal to us, we can just discard it and get a new one. Buying a DAC amp combo, and this is getting we're waxing lyrical now, it means you're trusting in the company, in AUNE, in IFI, in Shanling. You're trusting in them to put a whole thing together. I don't like Swiss Army knives. I don't know, I've told this story before. My cousin lives and dies by his Swiss Army knife. And it's a legit one, it was expensive, he got it as a gift. But every time I gotta go cut something, he has to pull it out, and he has to diddle the thing and then get it up and opened and then hope it's sharp because you have to sharpen it. Meanwhile, I just have a knife. Now, I don't have a tooth cleaner on that knife. I can't gut a fish. but I know that knife is a knife. And if I need to fucking pull out a flashlight, I got a flashlight. Swiss Army knives don't have flashlights in them yet. But the point is, I'd rather have individual quality tools than an all-in-one. But this is different because this is every day, and it should, if I've reviewed it and I've given it my thumbs up, you should be able to trust it and trust me with it. I got way off on a tangent with that. I would love to be able to hear the Monolith DAC without the Monolith amp, and then it could really give a little bit of a trust thing going on, but that's one of the rare examples where you can't access it. Even the fucking Xduoo has a auxiliary in and out. You could have aux out and test and literally have the DAC output and just put into another amp and test it. So, like, you can't do that with the STAX either. Can't do it with the STAX, can't do it with this, can do it with this, can't. Okay, so you'll get that? Good, follow along. So the rest of the list of things that are not here that should have been, Zeos timestamp again, Loxjie D30. I have the Loxjie A30 here. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the D30 I just reviewed. I set it up. It was like the new revision, the 2021 revision, all in one, plug it in, headphone out, sounded glorious. Do it. I had forgotten about all the other DAC amp combos. Look at them. They're invading my desk. And I think the Loxjie is a company that surprises me. In fact, I'm going to quickly just read the next ones, and then we're going to get to that Loxjie A30, because that's important. That's probably the most important thing in this group. Maybe. We'll see. Matrix Mini I was, again, an all-in-one combo. When I first moved into this house, Apos sent me the Matrix Mini I. And I was like, wow, I haven't done a DAC amp combo in a while. And Matrix fucking blew my mind, because it sounded so fucking good. And it was like $700, so it's not cheap. Same price as that thing, although I don't think I'd heard that thing yet. Then the Matrix came first. And it had the screen on it, and it did some streaming stuff, and it was like, that is an all-in-one solution. That's finally an all-in-one solution that I'm looking at. And I had to send that back to Apos. But that thing's ridiculous. The IFI iDSD, there's two of them here. There's the Signature and the Diablo. They're the bricks. They're like, they make this look like a BTR5 compared to them. Because the iDSD is like an inch and a half longer and taller, and puts out like 4 watts a channel. And then the Diablo was red and the same dimensions as the other thing. It's like this, but longer. And that, like, those at some point, I'm counting those as combos. But do you count them as portables? Like, if you're going to a specific show and you need like all 8 watts a channel in your pants, that's the only way to do it. So I'll give those both nods. There's almost no IFI product I dislike. Almost no. There's been 1 or 2. Go find those reviews. And then finally here is the Matrix Element X, which was that $4,500 fucking monster, $3,500 monster one that was on my review desk upstairs, my regular desk upstairs, and I didn't want to get rid of it. And that thing had balanced out, and that thing had dual antennas for streaming Wi-Fi, and that thing had the best amplification I'd ever heard at the time. So that was like pinnacle combo, was the Matrix Element X. But, you know, we're talking about money. So we're just going to peruse over that. You guys know if you want to look at it. Let's get to this, which I just stickered tonight. Because, Toga. She looks cool with sunglasses. So I'm going to count this as a DAC amp. Because it's a DAC and an amp. We've got fiber optic inputs. We've got coaxial inputs. You've got analog inputs, which very rare on, like, this, the Liquid Gold has it. You have a line out and up. You don't have a, what's it called? There's very few of these that have digital inputs and analog inputs to use the amplifiers in the front. So this is automatically getting interesting. Bluetooth, optical. It's got a subwoofer out because this is also a speaker amp. If you haven't seen my review of the Loxjie A30, I jerked off on this thing, almost literally. Like, oh my God, terms of service. If you haven't seen this in a while, that's because it's in use in my house. This little box, this little gray box, which is currently, I think, $185, which is a headphone amp that is very decent. I'm going to call it decent. It's not the greatest headphone amp, but I plugged this into it. I was like, oh, sounds pretty fucking good. Mostly because it's got a fucking speaker amp built into it, and therefore it's got quite a lot of power to push whatever you want to this 1/4-inch jack. So you get your digital inputs, you get your wireless input, you get your USB input, you get your analog inputs if you want. You can only do analog or coaxial. You can't do both because it takes the same jack. And I have this upstairs in my bedroom on 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, Ohm Walsh with Aperion Super Tweeter Duty. That's $4,000 in speakers. This little fucking $185 amp in the world of Zeospantera, where the shelves are lined with things, this is what pushes my bedroom setup. So I wake up in the morning and I'm just laying there naked, probably covered in some sort of fancy oil. And I'm like, Echo, play Guns N' Roses. This is what gets Bluetooth from the little Echo Dot, or actually it's an Echo input, which is the one that's like flat pancake. And then it just starts playing my speakers as loudly as I ever could need them to play. This DAC amp combo might be all you need in a desk. Because a lot of these, every one of these will do headphones. They'll all do headphones. That was a qualifying factor here. But this will do headphones decently. And then speakers better than almost any fucking thing. Like this might still be 3rd or 4th best amplifier I've ever heard. Including the benchmark being like number 1. The benchmark's pretty much number 1. This might be the 4th or 5th best sounding amplifier. And I don't know why. But there's magic that comes out of these fucking ports. Fucking magic. So yes, this is coming right back up to my bedroom over there because if I go to my bed right now, I can't tell it to play me The Sound of Rain by Sleep Jar, which I pay the extra like 20 cents a month or 40 cents a month. They're the high-res Sleep Jar Rain. Sounds amazing. So yeah, this fucking thing almost deserves its own review of just fucking digital inputting DAC amps that can also do speakers and have some sort of amazing quirk. So thank you very much, Loxjie A30, for existing. If they come up with a new version of that, like I can't even. This is a JDSlabs. We're gonna say it's an Element II. It's not, because I loaned that to my friend Dan. If you know Dan, the IT man, he's got my Element II, which is JDSlabs combo. This is the EL Amp 2, because they sell a STAX, which is a DAC, which I have them in my home theater, and they have the amp, and you put them together, and you plug them in with RCAs, and there you go, it's a STAX. But we're trying to avoid complications. And we're trying to avoid cost, because that STAX costs $500 and something. And the individual unit, which we're going to pretend this is, by the way, remember in the other review I said I can put a round animated girl sticker on it? Well, there you fucking go, buddies. I will link to anime stickers. This was like $60 in stickers. And why the fuck not? This is America. I do what I want. I have to extend that a little bit so I could see it better. But yeah, the combo unit of this looks exactly like this. There's no physical changes in the front. You got a 1/4-inch output. You got a beautiful, nice knob that takes over your whole desk when you put it down. It's like, boom. If I was an artist, I would completely paint this and then have like trees and grass and like a bunny rabbit in a rotational thing, so it looks like this is the center of the sun, and it would be like maybe a beach over here. Like I could see the artistry in this fucking thing, and it sounds ridiculously good. I'm talking about the combo. The combo adds USB. Adds USB. There's just USB in the back of it. I'm getting to you. Stop being in my way. So you would have power supply, USB. I think the newest one might have optical as well. I don't hold me to that. Check the link to the JDSlabs. But I think it might have optical as well. And it's cheaper. It's like $350, $400 for the combo. And it's made in America. Can you even buy a made in America combo? Because I know shit is made in America, but shit combos, I guess the Jotunheim's too expensive. Would be the Fulla. The Fulla is the cheapest combo. I don't have a Fulla around here. I don't think I've done a Fulla this year, so I didn't have to pull out a Fulla. Shit Fulla. Anyways, it's in the description. Link to a shit Fulla. Now, JDSlabs is very unique in their devices, and they're not balanced. We've had a lot of, well, what's been balanced? You've been balanced. You're electrostat. You don't fucking count. You're balanced. You're balanced. You're not balanced. Not super important. It matters to people who already have the headphone cable and stuff, but don't worry. JDSlabs might be coming out with something sooner or later, and it's going to be like, oh, fuck. But yeah, no, this is like spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record baby, because it's fucking fantabulous. Put you in here. You don't output balanced either. Now, I can get to you last. Maybe I'll get to you last. Let's talk about this. Dethonray Honey. Anime stickerified, because that's a perfect sticker for the Dethonray Honey. This may be what changed my perspective on amplifiers and what they're capable of in 2021. I know that seems like a fucking stretch, but I mean, the fact that I kept a $700, I think, portable DAC amp that requires you to plug it in USB. So basically to your phone or tethered to your laptop. It's definitely designed to be portable. The fact that this still exists and I haven't sold it for cold hard cash, which buys you Chinese food and hookers, is a miracle. This is too good a unit. This taught me what non-linear greatness can be. It clicks on, you get your blinky lights, you get your balanced output, you get a line output or optical output. Is that input or output? It's got to be input because it's not glowing red. Wait, no, it glows red. Fuck, I forgot. Is this input or output optical? I have never used it that way. I think it might be outputting optical. No, it's got to be inputting optical. Right? Am I wrong? Anyway, it's got two USBs in the back. One specifically to charge it. One that is the USB data. When you want to flash the firmware, by the way, spoiler alerts, you got to plug the USB to flash the firmware into the powered charge one. Who does that? The app will literally just never load, and then you go, oh, now the app will load. That is the dumbest thing, Dethonray. I don't know if you've probably seen the Prelude. If you're patrons, you've seen the Dethonray Prelude review of the DAP, and you can just tell the insanity that's happening at that company. But this thing, I would wear a Dethonray fucking t-shirt just because of how this sounds. My Tim socks, my fucking very linear $2,000 Tim socks, and this just like make babies every time I put them on. So this fucking DAC amp is, yes, it's designed to be like on a desk, on a laptop, or on a phone, but I will never, ever tell anyone that doesn't sound fucking phenomenal. You can even load different firmware profiles once you get that working to have like a bass boosted version or an extra power version or an IM specific version. They're trying. It's just not as convenient as other just standard things. Like I've just had Bluetooth. They'd be done. We'd be done with this review. Okay, it's time for the tone. Tone 2. Khadas Tone 2 board. Khadas Tone board, Tone 2. This is the weirdest DAC amp combo in the world. Pretty much. If you could think of a weirder one, please tell me in the comments. Because it doesn't look like much. It's the size of a credit card. Well, it's very thick compared to a credit card, but it is a balanced headphone, 3.5mm headphone, RCA outputs that are also balanced with special cables. Yeah, those are balanced those are balanced RCA outputs that have like a separate connector in the bottom. Then a coaxial digital input, then a USB input for signal, unless you want to use that. Then you can use USB for power to power the unit, or plug another USB power into the I2S port to run a linear power supply. Well, this LED will change colors. Or it'll be an I2S port for like a more expensive device, can plug the HDMI, but it's converted to this into it to run it. And then it's got all sorts of menu options that you click through like this. Like you rotate this beautiful digital knob and you click through menu options for using it as a pre-out or not using it as a pre-out, or fucking high gain, low gain. Jesus fucking God. And it's like $200. It's like $200. All that shit. It's only slightly more money than this, and a lot of bit more inconvenient as far as like just turn knob. Turn knob's fine, but then you gotta click the button. But the way it sounded, like people, I've heard people say it doesn't sound good and you need another amp. I think people are trying the amount of when I look at the price of something, if this whole desk mat here, this black desk mat, if this was the budget of whatever unit I'm looking at, I have to in my head segment it out. Okay, it's $200. If they're gonna, and then I have to start chopping away things. Is it battery powered? No, we don't have to waste any money on batteries. Is it balanced? Yes. Does it have balanced outputs? Yes. Does it have digital controls? Yes, yes, yes. You start taking away, and what's left is for sound quality or power or amplification. If this was a straight $200 amplifier where you plugged in an analog signal and I gave you an analog signal, the whole $200 fucking dollars would be for that. But then it'd be like, well, is it self-powered? Does it have a battery in it? Then half of that's for battery and half of that's for sound. So I don't expect something that costs $200 like this to sound as good as a dedicated, $500 amplifier. But I think personally, it gets fucking close. This thing sounds amazing. And it's just so fucking weird. I love it. But yeah, it definitely not designed for it's designed for portability, but only in a laptop sort of scenario, not in a like, oh, it has Bluetooth or it plugs into my phone. These are more traditional portables, and this is, I don't know. It's just, keep doing what you're doing, Khadas. I'm getting the T, by the way, the Khadas T, which is like a magnetic DAC amp that magnets to the back of your phone. Should be fun. I have the magnet ring on mine. So we've covered that. 3 left. I guess this is the least traditional. Let's get you out of the way. Because I'm counting the Shanling EM5 as a DAC amp. That is the holiest understatement of the fucking year. Now, the Khadas Tone board might be the strangest, but this is the least proper in this category. Because if you look at it, it looks like a big black box. We've got, obviously, Anime Girl sticker right there with the mouth. We've got a volume knob here. Look, twisty twist. Push, push, push button, balanced, 1/4 inch. We look at the back and things start getting more interesting. It's like, all right, you're powering it with full size. Here's your extra power switch there because you can turn it off, soft off digital. Here's your analog outputs. Look, analog output, XLR and RCA. That sounds like what a DAC would have. Here's your inputs. You've got coaxial optical USB. You've got a USB A port like you'd plug a USB stick into. You got an Ethernet port, and these are digital outputs. What? Yeah, so to call this a DAC amp is to completely wholly underuse its capabilities. Oh, by the way, there's like a 4-inch screen here, or 4.5-inch screen, because it loads an Android player. Is it Android? Yeah, it's Android. So it's got an Android player for the SD card slot. If you haven't seen my review of this motherfucker, this thing isn't even $1,000. It was like $860, and then it dropped on sale during like the 11/11 sale and Black Friday to like $750. And it blows my mind because Shanling makes portable players, like portable music players, like with screens, and you scroll through them and you hit play and you plug your headphones in, you walk around, you dance, la 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 la. So they made a giant one that sits in your desk that costs less than their top of the line Shanling fucking portable, the M8. And has every feature you'd ever want. Wi-Fi built in. Can stream from Amazon Music, Spotify, Tidal, all those things, Apple Music. But when you really break it down and put it on this desk today, you plug in power there, you plug in any of these digital sources, and you get your analog powered output. It's a DAC amp combo. It's a DAC amp combo that when you're doing it like that, when you're just plugging in fiber optic power headphones, you're using 15% of its capabilities. And it sounds like a Shanling player, which Shanling players always have some sort of very nuanced like delicacy to it. It's not just raw powerhouse or extremely linear. It's like, oh, I really fucking like this. It's like the IFI things. I really like listening to this IFI thing. Wow, it sounds really good. I don't understand why. I'm just going to keep this forever and ever and ever. There you go. There's that, plus all that other shit I talked about. You can do everything but surf the web on this. And I'm pretty sure if you sideloaded APKs, there's fingerprints on here. Sideloaded APKs, where I surf the fucking web. You have Pornhub playing through your fucking headphones. And this doesn't belong on this desk. But I put it here because, you know what? When you look at it, it's a fucking DAC amp combo. It's also a digital converter to output different directions. And then it's a source player. This is fucking everything. This thing's dumb. You dumb, Shanling. And that's anime sticker immediately because you know what? I have so much use for that. You want to have headphones in your room? Hold on. Power headphone. Where's your source? The internet. We've covered. These are the last two. And these both, you probably haven't seen, if I'm pushing out videos out of order, the public probably hasn't seen the AUNE X1s GT review. Patrons have. And everyone's seen the review I have of this, the IFI Neo iDSD. And I fucking love this unit. Love it. Fucking love it. And in fact, I'm going to end up, I'm either bringing this upstairs or this upstairs back to my desk. I haven't decided on that shit yet. Because this was the de facto choice for Zeos. I don't want complications. I just want a simple unit. I put on my desk, plug in my computer in, and plug my headphones. This. Spend $700 or $800. Forget how much it was. Buy it. You can run it vertical, or you could take this off and you could lay it down. You got your tasteful anime science waifus drinking their coffee, or you do like a real man would, and you stand that bitch up like a book, and it is both lacking in features for its cost, but sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. It needs to be plugged in here, DC. Here's your Bluetooth, USB. I actually have the coaxial digital port cover here. I'll put that over there. Boom. Coaxial digital, fiber optic. You got full balanced outputs. You got RCA outputs. You got a balanced 4.4 in the front. You got a 1/4 inch in the front. You got a power button. You got this fucking look. You get this fucking sleek design, and it sounds. The problem with this one is that even the cheap ones, the $150 ones, have like true bass and power match, and these have none of that. These don't even have a menu. The menu is literally brightness of the display. And the display rotates when you rotate the unit. So it's like, well, that's not fucking helping at all in the slightest. Can I get a good picture of that? But my fucking word, did this thing sound ideal. Like if you had to, if you were IFI and you were told, look, you're going to put out a unit and it's going to be a rather pricey unit, relatively the price of the same portables that have 3D switches, X-based switches, IEM match, millions of watts. This isn't even that powerful. So is it mostly just a DAC where it's outputting for this? Is this where they're concerned? Because you can't even shut those off, by the way. It's when you plug the headphone in, I don't think the backs turn off. Am I remembering that correctly? It's been a while. I'm pretty sure I was testing headphones on the desk, and you plug in a headphone here, and I'll have it output to another amp, and then they would both be outputting at the same time. So, as flawed as this unit is, and I would call a lot of these things flaws, you've got a fucking menu. Like yeah, you click, and you can navigate a menu, and you don't give me the ability to turn things on and off, and flip switches, and was there even a high-low gain? I don't remember if there was even a high-low gain. You have to sound so fucking good, so clean, so linear yet not boring for me to throw this much fucking love. For me to throw the sticker on you. If you get the sticker, you've done something well. And IFI fucking nailed it with this. They need to come out with a new version of it that adds back all the other fancy shit and charge me $1,000. All right? You made this for $800? Give me $200 worth of fucking switches and knobs. Because that's what IFI is known for. They're known for how many fucking buttons and switches and knobs they got. And this was lacking it. But I saved it to second to last because I'm going to I miss listening to it. Zeos, the man who has all this shit, misses listening to this particular thing. Moving on to the last thing on the desk. Because this is the only thing I've gotten since that has rivaled it. And I want to listen to it, and I don't understand why. That's the best part about Z reviews. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't sit there with a measurement rig and try to understand why I love something. I just fucking love something. And the mystery kind of keeps it good. Like, if you told me why, maybe that would help other people. But it doesn't help me. The mystery is why things are intriguing. And this, which I just spit on, has a very, very adorable black and white anime bunny girl who's just got a little red bow tie. And it took me a while to figure out which exact sticker I was going to use in this. But this being a all black unit with just a single red GT and then the red thing there and the red liner, it's perfect. I found the cohesion. And let's look at this for a second, since this is the last one we're talking about today. I gotta clean the back. First of all, I want to mention, I didn't mention this in the review of this. The outside of this, you hear that? It's fucking sandpaper. If you rub your hand across it, you'll actually sand off your skin and there'll be white dust on it. Then you do this with like a jacket, and if your jacket's like rough, it's gonna do it. You gotta get like a microfiber cloth and some rubbing alcohol and get it nice and clean. The very first DAC amp combo I had in my channel was an AUNE X1s. That was 2015? 2014, 15. And this is the 8th generation of it. 8th anniversary and 8th generation of it. And it does everything you need. And more. Well, it doesn't do Bluetooth. That's the only thing it's like, but it's got coaxial input, optical input, USB input. So if you need to have Bluetooth, they sell, FIO sells ones you could plug into any of those. Well, except for USB. It's got this stupid fucking thing for reclocking your data in case you need to reclock multiple devices. I talk about it in the video of this. I'm not going into it. And then it's got the most important thing. You can access the DAC. It doesn't have balanced outputs. And I'm going to give it a pass on that. I don't need balanced outputs for most of my things in my life. But it gives you audio outputs, full line out. By the way, the letters that's upside down on the top and right side up on the bottom. So if you're looking over the top of the unit on your desk, you can read it. Is fucking inspired, and every company should do that. But it gives you 2 RCA outputs. Both of these are outputs. One is permanent line out, so you'd plug it into another amp. And the other one is a preamp, so you can actually control. That's what this volume knob is for. It's so you can control the balanced output, the 1/4 inch output here, and whatever's coming out this RCA will also get controlled. And it sounds fucking amazing. Like, here's the thing. You ready for the story? So I was going to do the review of it, and I've been putting off listening to it, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I just finished watching something on the projector down here. And I come over here, and I'm like, all right, let me just plug this in real quick and make sure it works and play, and then I plug in a headphone. Don't remember what headphone. I stood here at my desk, because it's 1:30. I'm not sitting down. I'm going to bed. But going upstairs, I'm going to bed. I stood here and listened to 4 songs in a row without skipping them. 12, 13 minutes of standing. Zeos doesn't like standing. I hate standing. Standing is the enemy. But I did it because I needed to hear my music through the fucking AUNE X1s GT. And that is a similar effect that had on me. Where it's just like, I don't know why, but I need to consume music through. The Dethonray, the amplifier or DAC amp combos here that have done that to me. Dethonray Honey, AUNE X1s GT, this, and this. The 2 IFIs. The Shanling, super competent. This, close to linear, but still not boring. A30 is more for speakers. I already gave my opinion on this thing a while back, where it's like, Tone 2 did an amazing job. This is for STAX, I'm not going to count it. These 4 were the ones that are like, holy God, because we're talking about sound quality and actually, not even quality. I feel like that's the wrong word. Perception of sound quality, maybe. Where it's like, it's doing something that's not the same as everything else, but all of these do a thing that makes me want to listen to the music more. And I can't tell you what that is. But yeah, that's basically it. Did any of the ones in the list? Well, I guess the one on the list that did that for me, that isn't here, would be the Matrix Element X. The Matrix Mini I came real close. The Matrix Mini I came real close, but the Element Dacs for $4,000 was like, holy fuck. So, if you wanted to pick one of the ones that's like, again, I hate tier lists, but I pulled these fuckers out so you know what fucking rank they are, idiot. Yeah, no, each one of these just blows my fucking mind every time I listen to it. And it's like, this isn't that cheap, but this is half the price of this, and I think they fucking compete. And then this is half the price of the half price and a quarter the price of this. So the fact that this is still the winner. You still can't go wrong with an IFI Zen Dac. Even if they fucked it with MQA, you fucks. But even if they did that, you cannot beat the build, the controls, and the sound for that money. If you want to get more expensive, this or this. I want to go sort of portable or have the laptop this. If you want to do something fucking wild, you get the Tone 2. You want to have Bluetooth capabilities, you get the fucking Balance. If you own STAX, here you go. The Liquid Gold X gets a pass, but again, it's not on my rack anymore. I still love the way it sounds. I haven't put an anime sticker on it. It might be sold in a yard sale at some point. It's just sitting here. The Loxjie A30, you got to come out with me, baby, because you're going back up to the bedroom. Going to do nasty things to you, like sleep, the sound of rain. The JDSlabs, of which this isn't the Element, but I pulled out the EL2 amp, and I'm going to pull it out more now that I put an anime girl on it, because that's how you get Zeos to do work. Give him a reason to put anime stickers on things, and he'll fucking come to life. The Shanling will never, ever not be used. I'm having a New Year's Eve party. This is previous to New Year's. And if people want to sit around and listen to headphones, that's what they're going to listen to it on. Stay the fuck away from my computers. Don't touch my network. Just, actually, you know what? That's a good idea. I should probably have a guest network set up so that people can't access all my files, and then just hit delete, because that's what they can do, by the way. Never have like if you have a normal network that your shit's on and people can access it, they're like, oh, what's all this family backup since 2013? Delete. Yeah. So really, the Liquid Gold X is put here for reasons, but it's the only one that I don't like absolutely think people should run out and buy. It does great. It looks great. It sounds good. I need to listen to it again. I think I'm gonna pop this out. The next time I need to review a DAC or something, I'm gonna pull this out as the amplifier for it and see how that goes. Anyway, I'm Zeospantera. This has been Zeos' 2021 holy fuck DAC amp review. There you go, turn that over. I'm going to go away now and put this back in my bedroom and put this, I'm probably gonna put you in there, baby. I gotta get a fiber optic splitter. Download that wallpaper in the description. All wallpapers available on Patreon and Subscribestar. Just a big list. I didn't create these wallpapers. Artists have created them. If you want to find those artists, Sauce Now and IQDB let you find their Pixiv pages or Twitters. Support them on there. I follow a ton of them. Subscribestar, Patreon. See reviews early. Participate in yard sales. Get into the Sound Demo Oasis channel on Telegram, where you can listen to all the sound demos that have disappeared over the years, or listen to modern sound demos. Look how porous this fucking thing is. You can listen to modern sound demos in lossless. I just take them right out of Audacity after I'm done editing them for time and such and EQing the thing. Pop them right in there, and you can listen to those losslessly in FLAC. If you want to spend a little more, $10 gets you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat, where you can ask me any questions you want. You're like, hey, Zeos, what about this one? Or what about this one? Or what about, have you ever plugged this into this? Hey, Zeos, you ever just shove an entire IFI product up your ass? I'm going to be like, what about those little USB ones? Those are there. There you go. That I could probably manage, but don't ask for more than that. But if you want to ask me that question, $10 a month, and you can ask me that question. Someone's going to literally pay $10 to ask me that question. Doesn't mean I gotta do it. It means you can. But you also, if you're in the $10 chat, you also gain access to the Lifetime Swap Meet channel, where you can trade gear with your homies or your bromies. I don't want to say bronies, but what's the opposite of a homie? What's the gender swapped of a homie? It's girls, right? Homies. What is that? I don't know. We'll figure it out in the comments, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm done. That wallpaper, links to fucking everything here. That's not going to take too long. Maybe 16 hours or something. It'd be great. Yeah, and I'll link to anime stickers. I haven't decided if I want to put this one on something. This one's nice. It's just gigantic, so it's like that's slightly overpowering for that. Yeah, that's not working. Anyway, I'm done. I will see you all in 2 days or in the new year or whenever the fuck. I might be doing daily videos for like a week straight just to try it out. Maybe not. But yeah, thanks you everyone who supports me, and I will see you all, and we will have another fucking big roundup of dicks.